Beginning this week, an additional 391,000 Albertans will be eligible for a COVID-19 vaccine. After completing a thorough, scientific, independent review of the clinical research data, Health Canada approved the Pfizer vaccine for use in children aged 5 to 11 years on Friday of last week. This is exciting news for hundreds of thousands of families across the province who have been eagerly awaiting for vaccine protection for their younger children. I'm happy to share that the wait is basically over. The Pfizer supply for children arrived in the province today, and the teams at Alberta Health Services and Alberta Health are working to get them distributed to more than 120 locations across the province over the next couple of days. So starting tomorrow morning at 8 a.m., parents and guardians will be able to book first dose appointments for children between ages 5 and 11 to help protect them, their loved ones, and our communities from COVID-19.
So we're not running them in schools at this point in time. We're rolling out the vaccines for younger kids at the 120 AHS clinics because that's the best way for the scale of the program. As you may be aware, we actually ran clinics for kids in junior high and high schools, and that wasn't all that successful. Of the 700 of the 1,300 schools that were offered actually canceled. We did run it in 591 schools and about 4,000 doses. So given the scale of the program, we're going to use what's tried and true, which is the AHS high throughput clinics, which has been successful to date. And then it's also, being mindful of the vaccines themselves. If we distribute it out to all schools, there's a risk if we don't have the uptake, there could be some wastage. So we believe that with the method that we have here, the 120 locations, we can actually over the next 2 weeks get the first surge done, and then we'll take a look after that. Okay, do we need to do cleanup at schools after the fact? But we'll have to wait and see.
I'll note that today British Columbia has announced effectively exactly the same approach as Alberta. They have a government of a different stripe. This has nothing to do with politics. I'll encourage you to look at the announcement made by British Columbia. They've indicated that a lot of parents have said they want to be present with their kids when they are being vaccinated, and it'll be a lot easier to accommodate that at large flow-through vaccine administration centres like we'll be operating here. As we are expecting very large demand and volume in the first couple of weeks. We've done some public opinion research on this and have found that approximately 50% of parents with children in that age range have decided to get their children vaccinated. So, that's upwards of 200,000 kids, and we have only, by the way, we only have only so much capacity to administer and deliver at a program of this scale with that many children, where we're expecting very significant demand up front. So again, the most efficient way of doing that, of handling that large demand, allowing parents to be present and participating, is to do what British Columbia is doing at large flow-through clinics. But I think it is important to underscore that Alberta has never had mandatory vaccines for school participation. And in fact, that would contravene the Education Act, which requires that students be able to access the schools regardless of their health status.
Health Canada has determined that the benefits of this vaccine for children aged 5 to 11 outweigh any potential risks. The clinical trial data showed that the vaccine was 90.7% effective at preventing COVID-19 in children aged 5 to 11, and importantly, no serious side effects were identified. The trial also showed that the immune response in children 5 to 11 years of age was comparable to the immune responses of people aged 16 to 25. This is wonderful news. Already in the U.S., over 2 million doses of vaccine have been administered to children ages 5 to 11, with few adverse events reported and no safety signals. Children between the ages of 5 to 11 will be offered a pediatric dose, which is 10 micrograms. This is 1/3 the dose of 30 micrograms given to children aged 12 and over and to adults. Not only has the pediatric dose in children been found to result in a similar immune response as the dose for older adolescents and adults, the pediatric dosing has been shown to reduce the risk of side effects for those in this age group. We have been closely watching our vaccine data and the data from other jurisdictions, And at this point, it seems clear that while still low, the risk of myocarditis following Moderna vaccine is higher than following Pfizer vaccine in those who were 12 to 29. As I mentioned, the risk of this outcome is still very small, with approximately 1 case per 7,000 doses in 12 to 17-year-old males. That's with Pfizer, and 1 case per 2,000 second doses with Moderna. Risks following vaccination are even lower for those aged 18 to 29, and it is also important to remember that myocarditis after COVID-19 infection is more common than after any vaccine. As a precaution, however, starting today, we will be advising that anyone between the ages of 12 and 29 receive Pfizer vaccine rather than Moderna. For those in this age group who have already had Moderna vaccine, there is no ongoing risk. If myocarditis happens after vaccine, it typically happens in the first 1 to 2 weeks, and after that, again, there is no ongoing risk.